Annie Mahama. Yellow blood do.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and Hits 103.9 FM here in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and streaming worldwide at myjoyonline.com, X Spaces, Facebook and YouTube. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via affiliates including Lolonyo 93.3 Hohoi, Bewa Radio 106.5 Yendi, Ingilki 103.7 Bole, ATL 100.5 Cape Coast and Radio Freed in Nandom. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up.
Because they don't buy almost system not to call. Can they make Zambia? And I'm a big girl. I must say, I can say I'm a strike.
The call a strike. I think a beer next week. And on my bedroom.
Frustration for scores of Ghanaians as several government institutions shut down on day 2 of the strike by members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, leaving many people stranded.
We are going around ensuring that nobody who is a CLOGSAG member is at post working.
CLOGSAG is demanding implementation of its revised conditions of service also.
Given our situation, I've thought of corruption, and I identified 2 major sources of it. One is the poor remuneration system that our society somehow seems to fight shy in tackling.
Former President Kufuor calls for an overhaul of public sector pay to help curb corruption, but will higher salaries truly reduce the menace? We'll hear from an anti-corruption advocate. In sports,
the president of the Congolese Football Association has been handed a life prison sentence for embezzling COVID funds meant for women's football.
Also coming up, Ghana's new sliding scale gold royalty regime takes off despite opposition from the US, China and other countries. We'll tell you all you need to know about this new mechanism, and later we head to Teshi to understand how one of Ghana's most cherished traditional dishes, gakenke, or if you like, komi, is prepared and served.
The reason I love kenke so much is deeply personal. That is why even today I make it a point to eat kenke before sleeping.
These and more with me, Gemma Appiah. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. This afternoon, some government institutions have shut down due to the ongoing strike by members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana. The strike entered day 2 today, with the union protesting against persistent delays in the implementation of its agreed conditions of service. A meeting convened by the Labour Ministry with the leadership of CLOGSAG on Monday ended without a resolution. That meeting is expected to continue today, but even before that happens, a visit by Joy News to several offices, including the WA Municipal Assembly and the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, found the offices completely shut down, leaving clients stranded. The WA Municipal Organizer of CLOGSAG, Ambrose Wawe, explained the rationale behind the strict enforcement to our correspondent Rafiq Salam.
We expected them to be at home because it was announced that from 9th we are supposed to be at home, and then we are supposed to lay down our tools and then stay at home. And so we are the executives of one municipal, and then this exercise is in collaboration with the regional executives, and then we are going around ensuring that nobody who is a CLOGSAG member is at post working.
So what happens if I'm a CLOGSAG member and I decide that I won't go?
So we ensure that you go home. We are out and then we are ready.
But that will be against my rights because I want to work.
No, it is also against our collective rights that we are demanding something that government should pay attention to and then implement, and then at the end of the day we are not seeing results that we are expecting.
Let's hear from some frustrated clients as well.
I think I have family for now. Last month we pay by now so I'm going some of the new idea. I was staff at the normal Uboguso. Register because one register and yeah, they on some account pay slip and a deadline on the 15th because they let me buy almost system not to call can name Zambia ana ma bedu a amo say ya kan say amo ko strike no
Eba say omo call a strike. I think be next week. And on bebe djuma. And the crowd no nim class on bebo. Says omo man so. And say my trans I made Gemma.
So you had some clients in Kumasi who have been expressing frustration over the strike by CLOGSAG, members of CLOGSAG. We are built to speak to the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Rashil Pelpio. When we get him on, we will bring you that particular interview. But let's take you to other stories now. Former President John Agyekum Kufuor is calling for a major review of Ghana's public sector remuneration, arguing that low wages for government officials contribute significantly to corruption. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy News' Emefa Aditi on the AM show, he said the current salary structure for civil servants and political office holders is unrealistic and can create conditions where corruption becomes a coping mechanism rather than an isolated act.
So, given our situation, I've thought of corruption and I identified two major sources of it. One is the poor remuneration system that our society somehow seems to fight shy in tackling. The pay system is really not good. Go to, say, a ministry of government where a director, highly trained director, who served for, say, 10, 20 years in current times, monthly take-home pay net might not be even beyond 30,000 Ghana cedis, given the inflationary situations we are in the course. And such a director, perhaps a family with wife, with 4 children or so, the director would naturally want the children to have some of the best education. He would want to live decently, have a decent home, not exaggerated or extravagant. Would want a car. He's a social person, so naturally want to also bear the social responsibilities in our traditions, extended families, and all that sort of. What happens? What happens to a man like that is that he practices red tapeism. Bureaucracy, that word sounds big, but the main thing is it's a big source of corruption. And how do they do it? And this thing has become so pervasive. You look at our police system, a whole police officer, I don't know, but I don't think, say, superintendents, and they get take-home pays of beyond 5,000 Ghana cedis a month. And these are people who are sort of upholding law and order in our systems. So again, they would also go and practice top-up, go to the courts, lawyers, politicians, even academics. So corruption is so pervasive in the system, and I trace the whole thing largely to remuneration, not realistic.
You had former President John Agyekum Kufuor. Joining us is an anti-corruption campaigner and former executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim. Thank you for joining us on the Midday News. From your experience in anti-corruption advocacy, is remuneration really the main driver of corruption in Ghana?
Remuneration is just one of the causes of corruption in Ghana. It is not the only cause. Because, you see, if corruption is enshrined in society, no matter how much you pay the person will still be engaged in corruption. You've seen people having 3, 4, 5 cars. You enter a house and there are 3, 4, 5 cars parked. And after they have left for work, you still have a number of empty cars sitting in the house. You see people having houses in more than 1 or 2 regional capitals and in their own villages. It is not poverty that actually, or low salaries that actually make people corrupt. It is greed and our respect for people who are people in a certain economic class.
You mentioned that remuneration is just one of the main drivers. What are the others?
Well, I've just said that it is greed. The desire to get as much as you can get as a human being. Because when you take out salaries, the chief director in a civil service organization is probably the highest paid person. He's also entitled to certain maybe allowances and all that. Yet, are you saying that key directors are not corrupt? Because they are involved in awarding contracts and all that, so they are in a position to get more money than the ordinary person in the office. So if you use remuneration as a basis, then those in the lower income brackets should be the most corrupt. But that's not the situation from our observation.
Thank you very much, anti-corruption campaigner and former executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim. And now, the global oil market is experiencing sharp swings as mixed signals from the U.S. President Donald Trump over the war involving Iran rattle investors and energy traders. Oil prices surged above $100 per barrel, briefly nearing $120 over fears that conflict could disrupt supplies from the Middle East before retreating to $91 this morning after Trump suggested the war could end soon. Head of research here at Joy News, Isaac Kofi joins me in studio and will brief us on the prices. Kofi, take us through what's been a volatile market pricing since the war began.
Well, so Gemma, oil prices have actually fallen sharply by some 7% within just 24 hours to about $91 per barrel, and the expectation is that this could go down further after Trump hinted that the war in the Middle East could end soon. Our database actually shows that the current price, which is about $91 per barrel, is still about 33% higher compared to where it used to be before the war.
We also know Trump has been hinting at measures to stabilize supply. What have we gathered?
Well, so we are learning that Trump has actually had what he calls very good call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And in fact, talks actually covered sanctions relief as well as more targeted options for certain countries such as, India, to be able to buy Russian oil without sanctions from the U.S. But in response to Trump, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards say they will determine the end of the war, and Tehran will not allow 1 liter of oil to be exported from the region if U.S. and Israel attacks continue.
Thank you very much, Kofi Ejay. We've heard earlier from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, that volatility could continue as long as uncertainty surrounds the conflict and potential disruptions to oil flows through the Straits of Hormuz, a critical route for global energy shipments.
The next window will be very interesting. Look forward to that. Next window from 16th of March, Ghana will know what real marketing is. I'm about to tell you today. Last week we were buying fuel, AGO at SREF at 6.5. Today it's almost 8. Is MPA controlling that? No, they can't control it. They can't control that. What I'm saying is that we're able to lock in product, have gain. But if you could not lock in product and you are buying today from the market, bro, next week I said will be very interesting.
So, CEO of COMAC, Riverson, upon there, but there may be some relief in sights for Ghana's fuel markets as the Tema Oil Refinery prepares to resume full-time production. Analysts believe increased supply from the refinery could help stabilize fuel prices in the coming months. For more insights on what this could mean for the market, here is technical advisor to TOR, Nana Amwesi. Thank you for joining us on the Midday News. With global crude oil prices volatile, how much impact can the resumption of full operations at TOR realistically have on stabilizing fuel prices in Ghana?
Thank you, Mameti, for having me. What we are experiencing in the world market is an issue of supply that is impacting the price. And so if the oil refinery begins full operation, what it means is that there is some supply reliability and security. In a market where demand is more than supply, you will definitely see prices inch up. And so Tamoya Refinery is going to introduce its 45,000 barrels per stream day into the market to ensure that at least we have fuel security. And that technically have a bearing on price as well, because there will be enough of demand supply of finished products on the Ghanaian market. So and the other refineries like Sentiu.
How quickly could consumers begin to feel any price relief at the pump once TOR's refined products and start to enter the market?
Well, I'm sure within the next 1 week, when TOR receives its first parcel of crude, definitely it will hit the market within days. And so we'll say confidently that within the next window, we may see some oil refineries contribution on the Ghanaian fuel market.
Thank you very much, technical advisor to Tor Nana Amwesi. Let's head to Parliament now. Baba Jamal, the MP-elect for Ayawasu East, has been sworn into Parliament. Our correspondent, James Aviji, joins us now with details. James, tell us more.
Well, Gemma, he is yet to be sworn to Parliament, and that's one of the top agenda for today's sitting. Sitting is scheduled to begin any moment from now. And if you look at the order paper under oath, he's expected to get sworn in. The procedure is that when he comes to the floor of Parliament, he usually take a seat by the guest area. After the prayers and correction of vote and proceedings, the Speaker is expected to invite him to take 2 oaths of both secrecy and, of course, the oath of secrecy as well as the other oath. After that would be bring to an end the official swearing-in ceremony where he will be ushered his official seat in Parliament, and from today the people of Ayawasu cordial relations.
Thank you very much, James Avaji there. I earlier told you that some government institutions have shut down due to the ongoing strike by members of CLOGSAG. The Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Rashid Pelpio, is currently engaging my colleague MF Aditi on the Joy News channel. Let's listen.
Get back to rendering the services while you as well continue with the negotiation. And what's quite different about this government for them to want to believe that what happened in the previous regime won't happen in this government?
Well, what happens in this government is going to be different. First of all, after listening, we are picking up the pieces and getting to understand exactly what the demand is. We are making a promise that it will be on the table of the finance minister. It's an intersectoral commitment to work on it, and we are pledging to do so. So once this pledge has come and there's a commitment to get to the bottom of it, we do have to continue a strike until we structure it into the economy and start working on it. I think that is a strike that shouldn't come on at all, because the overall impression we all have is that we want to create a great country, a good country, an economy that is satisfying and will serve us all.
Okay.
Now, if you want to chisel away that part of the economy which you are building, and you still want something in the economy, it's going to have a negative consequence. So I think that with the respect I have for CLOGSAG, we should come down and begin to work.
And if they don't, Honorable, if they don't?
If they don't, all of us are going to suffer, because look, people are already suffering. The pain is already going down, because I heard somebody saying, well, he needs to stay and he needed to get a deadline and CLOGSAG is not there to work. It's going to have a total effect on all of us and themselves as well. And I think that that shouldn't be the reason for them to be on strike. We should go on strike for a specific reason, and I can tell them that specific reason they are going on strike is being tackled.
Okay. All right, Minister, thank you so much for bringing some clarity to this strike happening. Thank you.
So you heard Rashid Pelpio, he's the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment. He's urging the CLOGSAG to return to work. He spoke on the Joy News channel. Away from that, climate variability has emerged as the single most destabilizing factor in Ghana's agriculture sector. When yields are impeded by the weather, the youth shy away from venturing into agriculture. Experts say reversing agriculture's decline and the climate stress requires bold national action. On climate evidence, Kofi Edu-Domfe looks at reviving farming glory and the climate stress.
Ghana's farming population is aging.
Unfortunately, if you check our agric population, you realize that over 80% of our farmers are people who are age 65 and above, and that's dangerous.
Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismarck Owusu-Norte, says attracting young people into agriculture remains a major hurdle. Climate risk looms large.
The question you ask yourself is, why are we not having young people actively participate anticipating. Aside from the financing, the infrastructure which is not there, the risks of climate change and the fact that the youth are not able to appreciate and use the available technologies to at least integrate farming into their system is a big thing that we need to address.
In Techimentia, in the Tano South municipality of the Ahafo region, farmer Nana Owusu Debright describes the harsh reality on the ground.
One of the major problems is about the rainfall. Right now, we are waiting for water. If it's rain today, tomorrow, none of the community people will stay at home. They will go to farm to sow.
For agronomist Dr. Michael Odenki Kwe, climate change presents both a challenge and an untapped opportunity.
As a climate intervention, I'm just citing biochar production, which can be an entrepreneurial opportunity for young people. The challenges are real, low yields, losses on the field, and so on. But again, there is also opportunity.
Agricultural economist Dr. Jonas Osei Edu believes youth inclusion is possible, but only if climate-smart agriculture policies move beyond rhetoric.
It's about risk. If the youth goes for a loan of 10,000 and has to depend on rain, why do you think he or she will be motivated? So we need to move away from rain-fed agriculture into irrigation.
As climate stress intensifies, the future of Ghana's agriculture hinges not only on rainfall patterns, but on policy clarity, innovation, and the courage to reposition farming as a resilient and profitable enterprise for the next generation. Kofi Edudomfe.
It's now time for sports. Victor Achu Tamaklo is here. Victor.
Hi, Gemma. The president of the Congolese Football Federation, Jean Blas Mayolas, has been sentenced to life imprisonment after being found guilty of financial misconduct. He was elected in 2018 as president of the federation and was first accused of embezzling $1.3 million of FIFA funds, including almost $500,000 earmarked for the country's women's team through a number of shell companies. Now, in a declaration that was signed by the president of all women's football clubs last year, they alleged that only $20,000 out of the $500,000 FIFA sent to the federation in 2021 as part of its COVID-19 relief plan was paid out to them. And after 8 months of investigations, he was sent to prison for life yesterday.
Thank you very much, Victor Achu Tamaklo. You're still listening to the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we head to Teshi to understand how one of Ghana's most cherished traditional dishes, gakenke, is prepared and served.
The reason I love kenke so much is deeply personal. That is why even today, I make it a point to eat kenke before sleeping.
When nations rise, it begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy leaders converge at the Pro Business Forum 2026, the nation's premier platform for investment, enterprise, and economic transformation. With special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, joining captains of industry, financial institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Pro Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage in high-level dialogue, explore industry exhibitions, build powerful networks, and unlock real opportunities from finance and insurance to manufacturing, agribusiness, SMEs, and innovation. This is where it all happens. From the 3rd to the 5th of April, 2026, at the Kwo Convention Center, ATBA, go to www.kwobusinessforum.com and register now. To register for exhibitions, call 059 555 5885 or 059 555 5995. Kwo Business Forum. Connect, promote, grow.
Imagine waking up to fresh forest air, wildlife just a few steps away, and breakfast served in the heart of nature. This March, Joy FM is inviting you to escape the city properly. Friday the 20th and Saturday the 21st of March, we're taking you on the Joy FM Safari Experience 2026, a 2-day luxury adventure through Aqua Safari and Safari Valley. Picture this. We head to Aqua Safari, Lakeside Branch, Island Boat Rides, Segway Adventures, and just when you think it can get better, we head to Safari Valley for pure relaxation and an evening bonfire and fun luxury cabins tucked away into nature. Then we rise early for a sunrise hike along the Kriapim Ridge. Breathtaking views, golden light, and unforgettable moments. guided wildlife encounters. This is not just a trip, it's nature, comfort, adventure, curated the Joy FM way. Joy FM Safari Experience 2026, 20th and 21st of March. Limited spaces, premium experience. Single 5,000 CDs, double 8,000 CDs. Call or WhatsApp Slevin on 053 100 3813 to book your slot. Be part of this unforgettable escape. Joy FM Ghana Month and Safari Experience 2026 is proudly sponsored by GCB, your bank for life.
Welcome back to the Midday News. A fuel tanker loaded with petroleum products has overturned on the Falco stretch of the Accra-Kumasi Highway, triggering heavy traffic congestion after emergency teams closed parts of the road to traffic. The incident occurred this morning, forcing personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service and other emergency agencies to secure the scene to prevent possible fire outbreaks. Now, between demanding work schedules, constant digital communication, and the daily pressures of city life, many people are finding it increasingly difficult to slow down. But wellness experts often stress that rest and intentional breaks are essential for maintaining both mental clarity and productivity. As part of Joy FM's Ghana Month build-up to the Joy Safari Experience 2026, today's report reflects on the importance of stepping away from routine, even briefly. Noella Yali reports.
Around the world, the idea of intentional breaks is gaining attention, not as luxury, but as necessity. Moments away from routine are increasingly recognized as essential for mental clarity, creativity, and emotional balance. And during this Ghana Month, Joy 99.7 FM is encouraging listeners to rediscover that pause through the upcoming Joy Safari Experience 2026. It's taking place from March 20 to 21 at the Safari Valley Resort in the Eastern Region, and the initiative offers participants an opportunity to step away briefly from everyday pressure and reconnect with calm. Because sometimes the most valuable journeys are not the longest ones, but the ones that simply allow us to pause, reset, and return renewed. For Joy News, Noella Karen Yale.
When was the last time you enjoyed gakenke? Ever wondered what goes into preparing this beloved staple? As we celebrate Ghana Month, we head to the heart of Teshi to see how the iconic kome is made and served with hot pepper. My colleague Namoko with a kenke story this afternoon.
From the street of Osu to the shores of Adan, kenke, locally known as komi, Otimi or Dokmo, has been preserved for centuries. Today, it is enjoyed in Ghana, cutting across tribes and regions. But what really goes into its preparation?
To prepare kenke, you must first soak the maize for about 3 days. This allows it to ferment properly before it's milled into corn dough.
The main ingredient is maize. It is soaked for days, milled and left to ferment.
Once the milling is done, the dough is sieved to remove any unwanted particles.
Yomo tells me the fermented corn dough is partially cooked over heat, stirred vigorously for hours.
At this stage, you stir it steadily with a good quantity of salt, just like preparing banku.
Each ball is then wrapped tightly in soaked corn husks and tacked to seal. For nearly 4 hours, it boils slowly.
When the aflata is well cooked, it is mixed thoroughly by hand to achieve that smooth, firm and slightly starchy texture.
As I prepare to taste my gakenke, Nijani joins me at the table with his testimony.
The reason I love kenke so much is deeply personal. That is why even today I make it a point to eat kenke before sleeping.
Indeed, kenke is not just a delicacy for the Gatangwe people. Every morsel reminds us of the diversity of the Ghanaian culture. For Joy News, I am Na Moko.
On that kinky note, we end the midday news on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Gemma Appiah. Next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otable.